Um, it had been exactly 6 months since Raphael stormed out of his marriage like a man who just discovered he married the wrong twin. 6 months since he packed his bags, slammed the door, and pretended he was acting like a responsible adult. 6 months since he told his wife Claire that their marriage was officially finished because she refused to terminate her pregnancy. Yes, pregnancy. His own child, the same child he helped create on a Friday night when Nipa took light and the weather was cold. But life is a comedian, and that Monday morning in the middle of Lagos traffic, life gave Raphael a premium slap of reality. He was sitting behind the wheel at a red light in Victoria Island, humming to some old-school blues and feeling like a big man when his entire destiny scattered before his eyes. Because walking right in front of his car, slow, calm, unbothered, was Claire. Still elegant, still composed, still carrying herself with the kind of dignified peace that made people wonder if she ever shouted at anybody in her life. Except this time, she was 7 months pregnant. Not small pregnancy, full pregnancy. Pregnancy that said, surprise, your stubbornness did not stop anything. And at that instant, Raphael's heart dropped to the bottom of his stomach, because the truth hit him faster than Danfo drivers hit their brakes. Claire never had any abortion. She kept the baby, and Raphael, had abandoned them both over an assumption he did not even bother to confirm. He gripped the steering wheel. His chest started beating like talking drum. The light turned green. Other drivers were honking, but Raphael couldn't move. This was the moment he realized he had messed up hugely. How Raphael became the real Raphael. Raphael used to be the kind of man who acted like his brain was a supercomputer, always calculated, always confident, always forming, I know what I'm doing. He worked as a top-tier property consultant, big houses, big clients, big suits, and big ego. He loved making quick decisions. It made him feel powerful. And to be fair, it worked. He made good money and built a solid reputation. When he met Claire 6 years earlier at a friend's engagement party, he was instantly drawn to her. Not because she was loud or flashy. No, Claire had this calm, gentle strength that felt like cold Zobo on a hot day. Refreshing. She was a primary school teacher who treated everyone like they mattered. A true sweetheart. They dated for a year, got married in a simple but classy ceremony, and for about 3 years everything was smooth like a jegge bread and butter. They bought a house, took road trips, climbed Olumo Rock twice, and talked about a future with kids. Then, career happened. Raphael got busier, more meetings, more late nights, more travelling. Less attention, less communication, less Claire. While Claire kept trying to make things work, Raphael kept drifting. She wanted to start a family. She was 31 and ready. Raphael kept postponing. Let's wait for promotion. Let's save more. Let the market stabilise. Deep down, he just didn't want anything to disturb his flexible enjoyment lifestyle. Claire tried to be patient, but as months turned to years, tension entered their marriage like uninvited visitors. Arguments became weekly episodes. Raphael accused her of forcing motherhood on him. She reminded him that they discussed children before marriage. Their love started cracking. One evening, Claire came home looking pale. She sat beside him and whispered the words that rearranged his destiny. I'm pregnant. 6 weeks along. 3 tests confirmed it. Raphael's joy did not jump out. Instead, panic held him like handcuffs. This wasn't in his plan. He had a major project coming. He had investments to manage. He had deals lined up. A baby? Now? He started talking like a robot. Let's think logically. It's bad timing. We're not prepared. We're already struggling. Claire just stared at him, heartbroken. This was their child, their blessing, their moment. But Raphael turned into a walking calculator. For 2 weeks they argued non-stop. Raphael pushed for an abortion. Claire refused. He called her selfish. She told him she wouldn't kill her child because his schedule was tight. The more she stood firm, the angrier he became. Until one day... That night, Raphael said the kind of thing that makes ancestors stand up from their chairs and shout, "Young man, fear God!" After one more exhausting argument that felt like round 12 of a boxing match, Raphael snapped. Not ordinary snapping, full-blown, I don't care again snapping. He pointed at Claire, voice shaking with anger and foolish confidence. "If you won't end this pregnancy, then I want a divorce." Claire froze. "You know that freeze where your soul leaves your body for 5 seconds? Yes, that one." She blinked, hoping she misheard, hoping maybe Nipa interrupted the audio of her life. But no, Raphael said it louder and proudly wrong. She stared at him like, "So this is how stupidity looks when it's fully grown?" She knew he was scared. But she never imagined that the man who once cried when she sprained her ankle would now choose to leave her because she refused to kill their unborn child. So she asked him softly, her voice cracking, "Raphael, are you actually ready to throw away 7 years of marriage because I want to keep our baby?" But Raphael, proud, angry, and powered by pure stubbornness, said yes, not even blinking, as if he was reading from a script written by someone who hated happiness. He gave her an ultimatum. Either she removed the baby or he removed himself. He actually thought he was giving her a reasonable choice. A smart man, a logical man. But Claire simply nodded, tears running freely, and whispered, "I will not kill my child to keep you. If that is your price, then go." That night, Raphael believed he had won the argument, but truly, he had just lost everything. Raphael packed out 3 days later. He rented a fancy furnished apartment on Lagos Island, one of those places with an artificial plant and small AC that pretends to be powerful but only cools one corner of the room. He buried himself in work, meetings, deals, trips, new shirts, new ego. He told his friends, Claire and I just had issues about the future, irreconcilable differences. He did not mention the pregnancy, of course not. After all, selective storytelling is also a talent. In his mind, Claire would soon come back to her senses, get the abortion and call him crying, "Baby, come home, I've done it. Let's start again." But 1 month passed. Silence. 2 months. Nothing. He told himself Claire was stubborn, probably waiting for him to break first. But Raphael had pride like Nigerian jollof, thick, smoky, and impossible to swallow easily. He kept going out with friends who praised him. "Guy, you look fresh. Divorce is working for you, oh." Raphael would smile, pretending life was sweet. Meanwhile, something small but sharp kept poking his chest at night. By the 3rd month, he completely convinced himself that Claire had ended the pregnancy. After all, she never called him once, never asked for child support, never showed up crying, never dragged him on social media, quiet like someone who had moved on. His lawyer filed the divorce papers in early May. Claire signed. No argument, no wahala. She didn't beg, didn't fight for money, didn't demand the house or a car. She only took her belongings and half their savings. Smooth. Too smooth. But Raphael was too busy living his best life to question it. By mid-June, after he moved out, they were officially divorced. Raphael felt free, a strange freedom, a freedom that tasted like Gary without sugar. Possible, but not sweet. He had won. He told himself that every day, but sometimes in quiet moments he would wonder, is she okay? Is she eating well? Did she move on? He never called. Stubbornness tied his fingers, pride locked his mouth. Then came late August, 6 months since he walked out. Raphael was driving to a breakfast meeting with a rich client, one of those men who pretend to hate money but still sign billion-naira deals before 11 a.m. He stopped at a red light in Victoria Island, sun shining, Lagos people crossing the road as if they owned it. And then he saw her. Claire, walking slowly, carefully, her hand resting on her belly. But it wasn't her elegance that hit him. It wasn't her calm face or her quiet grace. It was the pregnancy, impossible to ignore, very visible pregnancy. 7, maybe 8 months along. Raphael's soul jumped out of his body and ran. His stomach dropped. His heart stopped. His brain rebooted. Because 1 + 1 was finally equaling 2. Late August minus 8 months equals December or early January, which equals the same pregnancy she told him about in February, which equals the baby was his, which Claire never had any abortion. All those months he lived freely, all those months he partied, all those months he told himself convenient lies. Claire was carrying his child alone. Raphael's hands shook so badly he nearly dropped his steering wheel. People were honking behind him. "Ogre, move now! Who stop Bam? Is he sleeping?" But Raphael couldn't hear anybody. He couldn't think. He pulled over, breathing like someone who just ran from a masquerade. Every lie he told himself for 6 months collapsed like a badly built fence. He abandoned his wife. He abandoned his child. He left Claire to face pregnancy alone, morning sickness, doctor visits, loneliness, fear, everything. And he had done it all because he was scared. He was selfish. He was a coward hiding behind logic. Raphael sat in his car for more than an hour, missed his meeting, didn't care. He stared at Claire's contact on his phone. His thumb hovered over the call button. He wanted to call. He wanted to apologize. He wanted to ask if she needed help. She needed help. If the baby was okay, if she was okay, if there was still any chance, any tiny chance to make amends. But he couldn't press the button. How do you apologize for breaking someone you promised to protect? For 1 whole week after that shocking roadside encounter, Raphael was completely useless to himself and society. His life simply paused. The man who once bragged that he could close million-naira deals in his sleep suddenly couldn't even remember his laptop password. Deadlines? Missed? Meetings? Cancelled? Work? GenZMom, brain temporarily unavailable. Even his friends noticed something was off. They asked, "Guy, you day all right?" Raphael would smile like a malfunctioning robot and say, "I'm fine." Everybody could see he was not fine. This man spent hours driving past Claire's house like a thief doing neighborhood survey. He never came down. He never knocked. Just parked far enough not to be seen yet close enough to torment himself. Finally, one evening, he broke. He called Claire's sister, Abigail. The moment Abigail picked the call, her tone was so cold. Raphael checked his phone twice to confirm he wasn't calling Antarctica. She didn't even greet him. She went straight to the point. "What do you want, Raphael?" He swallowed hard. Abigail continued, "Claire is fine, not because of you, but in spite of you. If verbal slap was a sport, Abigail was a heavyweight champion. She told him Claire had handled the entire pregnancy alone. She worked until her feet were so swollen she had to wear slippers to the office. She carried her load with grace. She cried silently. She prayed loudly. She stood tall. Abigail didn't spare him at all. She said, "Raphael, you lost your right to be involved the day you walked out. Claire did not chase you. You abandoned her." But then she dropped a bombshell that nearly stopped his breathing. Claire never told anyone the real reason they separated. She never told her family that Raphael left because of the pregnancy. She simply said they grew apart and wanted different things. She protected the man who hurt her, even while carrying his child alone, even while wiping her tears at night. That thing humbled Raphael more than a bank alert reading 0 balance. "So, Mr. Raphael, don't ever call this number again. You said your goodbye long time ago, and the last time I checked, some better men are on cue waiting for Claire to say, 'Yes, I love you too.'" And just like that, Abigail ended the call. For the next 3 weeks, Raphael couldn't function. His guilt was louder than generators during fuel scarcity. He kept replaying everything in his head. The ultimatum, the divorce, his selfishness, his cowardice, then other better men. He realized Claire wasn't stubborn. She was graceful. She didn't fight him, didn't beg, didn't insult him. She simply accepted that he didn't want to be there and carried her load alone. That realization burned him like pepper inside wound. Then, 2 days after the call, Raphael finally summoned the courage he should have earlier. It was a Saturday afternoon. The weather cool and calm, the kind of day that made even Lagos look romantic. He parked outside her house. Sat there for 20 minutes, rehearsing lines like a failed Nollywood actor. Claire, I'm sorry. No, Claire, please forgive me. Ah, that one sounds weak. Okay, what about Claire? My heart bleeds without you. Raphael, you are not in a soap opera. Behave! Finally, he stepped out and knocked. When the door opened, the sight hit him like holy slap. Claire stood there, heavily pregnant, tired eyes, messy bun, oversized gown, but still so beautiful it made his chest hurt. She froze. He froze. The world froze. The only thing moving was his shame. Raphael opened his mouth to speak. Nothing came out, only air. Claire waited, one hand holding the doorframe, the other gently supporting her belly. He finally managed to choke out the only sentence that mattered. Claire, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then, like a leaking faucet, the tears followed. He apologized for walking away, for leaving her alone, for assuming she'd get an abortion just because he preferred the convenient lie, for being too much of a coward to check on her, for everything. He cried like a man whose sins were playing on full volume. Claire listened quietly, not interrupting. When he finished, she let out a shaky breath. She didn't shout. She didn't insult him. She just spoke calmly, which somehow hurt more. She reminded him she had gone through everything alone. The first kick, the ultrasounds, the morning sickness, the late night fears, the quiet victories, the heartbreak, the birthing class, where she sat alone watching other couples smile at each other. She said she had built a new life without him because she had no other choice. Then Raphael asked the question that felt like lifting a mountain with bare hands. Is there any chance I can still be involved? Can I help? Can I be there for the birth? Claire looked at him with the kind of sadness that made his soul shake. She told him she didn't need a last-minute hero, not a man who suddenly remembered he was a father after disappearing. If I ever needs a man, I have strong, better, richer men that want to marry me, but I don't want Mr. Man. If I could go this far without you, then I am big enough to go further and farther without you. Raphael swallowed hard. His voice was small, shaky, embarrassed, like a man who just realized life had slapped him with two hands. Claire, I am not saying I want to be the hero here. All I want is to try to correct my errors, which I know I can't fully correct, and also I desire to be part of the birth of our child. Can I help? Can I be there for you? Please say yes. Claire looked at him the way Nigerian mothers look at a child who failed Way C after attending lessons six times a week. Not anger, not hatred, just pure disappointment wrapped in tired sadness. She shifted her weight, her pregnant belly rising and falling gently as she breathed. Her voice was calm, too calm. Raphael, she said, I don't need a last-minute involvement. She paused and added with a tiny bitter laugh, You're not an Avengers member. Raphael blinked like a confused goat. Claire, please. She raised a hand. Let me finish. And she did, slowly, painfully. I don't need a man who suddenly remembered he's a father after evaporating like Nepa light. If I needed a man, like I said earlier, I have better, richer, finer men practically begging to marry me. Men who can buy your whole father's compound and still have change, Suya. Raphael opened his mouth, wounded. She didn't care. But I didn't choose them. And if I've come this far without your help, she said, adjusting her hair like a queen delivering judgment, trust me, I can go further and farther without you. And with that, she gently closed the door. Not a slam, not violence, just a firm click. Somehow that hurt more. The next morning, Raphael woke up with new determination. Yes, Raphael, the same man who once ran away from fatherhood like it was a landlord demanding rent. He was now ready to be Father of the Year. The next day, he showed up again with a basket of fruits. Expensive fruits. Fruit that only rich people pretend to enjoy. Grapes, kiwis, blueberries. Claire opened the door, saw the basket, and raised her brow. Is this apology or bribery? It's support, Raphael stuttered. Please carry your imported apples and go, she said. My baby likes Nigerian mango. Door closed again. Raphael refused to give up. He sent his church's youth pastor to talk to her. Pastor Jude knocked, smiling like an angel. Good afternoon, Sister Claire, I came to. Claire didn't even let him land. Pastor, if you're here because Raphael sent you, I beg go home. I don't want mentorship. I want peace. Pastor Jude nodded, turned around and disappeared like rapture had just happened. Then Raphael came up with another idea. He made the mistake of bringing his mother. Mama was ready with wrapper tied tight, ready to appeal. Claire, my daughter, forgive my son. He's a human being. And like you, no one is perfect. Claire smiled politely. Mama, I respect you, but if Raphael is a human being, let him prove it, not you. Even Mama nodded and said, what is inside of you is our blood. Please let him be part of it. You can't raise our blood without us. It's a taboo. Claire laughed so loudly and said, but in your family, it's not a taboo for a man, a grown-up man, to walk out on his wife and left her to carry the burden of pregnancy all alone. She hissed and said, Mama, you have overstayed your welcome. Raphael's mom couldn't argue. She quietly got up and left the room. 2 days later, Raphael sent a delivery man with baby items, crib, stroller, diapers, soft toys, even small baby sneakers. Claire came out, looked at everything laid in front of the door and sighed. Please return everything, she said. The delivery man blinked. But madam, he paid in full, Claire said, and your refund in full. Collect your receipts. The delivery man hissed softly. Raphael cried silently from his car across the street. Then text message challenge was flagged opened. Raphael started texting. Good morning, Claire. No reply. Hope you slept well. Delivered. Blue tick. No reply. Have you eaten? You need to eat well. Seen. Ignored. Claire, please let's talk. Blocked. Yes, she blocked him. Blocked him like network service during heavy rain. Now his final attempt. One rainy evening, Raphael stood outside her gate, drenched like a wet Labrador, determined to wait till she came out. Claire eventually stepped outside to throw away trash. She saw him standing there shivering, holding a small umbrella that wasn't even covering half his body. Raphael, what are you doing here? She asked tiredly. I'm not leaving, he said, voice trembling. Not until you give me a chance. I know I messed up. I know I don't deserve anything. But I'm here. I'm staying. Claire, please, let me try. Claire stared at him for a long moment, rain falling, thunder rumbling, her belly rising under her dress. At last she sighed. You want to be a father? She asked. Yes, Raphael said instantly. No disappearing? Never again. No cowardice? No more. Consistency? I swear. She looked at him slowly, like she was scanning for lies. All right then, she said, adjusting her shawl. We'll see. Not forgiveness, not acceptance, just we'll see. But Raphael heard hope, even if it was tiny, shaking and fragile. And for the first time in months, he felt like maybe, just maybe, he could earn back what he lost. 2 days after that rainy gate confrontation, Claire did something that shook Raphael more than Nepa-like coming back after 3 days of darkness. She called him. Raphael almost dropped his phone. He stared at the screen like it was a miracle. Hello, he asked, breathless. Claire's voice was calm. Too calm. The type that tells you to fear for your life. Raphael, my next antenatal is on Thursday, 10 a.m. If you want to come, come. If you don't, it's your business. This is your first test. And she hung up. No extra greeting, no God bless you, no bye, just click. Raphael sat there, heart pounding, his first test. If he passed, maybe she'd talk about next steps. If he failed, Omo, he was finished. On that Thursday, Raphael arrived 45 minutes early, 45. This was a man who used to stroll into work meetings 20 minutes late with coffee in hand. Now look at him, sitting stiffly in the waiting room, legs shaking like generator plug about to fall out. He watched pregnant couples walk in, husbands rubbing their wives' backs, holding handbags, fanning them gently. Raphael swallowed. See other men being amazing fathers. And me, aspirant. When Claire finally walked in, even the air respect itself. She wore a long gown, small sneakers, hair tied back, simple but glowing. Pregnancy glow, of course, not glow of smiling for Raphael. She saw him. Her eyebrows rose. You're early, she said. I didn't want to miss anything. And they sat, side by side, in premium awkward silence. When the nurse called her name, Raphael followed politely like a repentant houseboy. Inside the room, the doctor dimmed the lights and began the scan. And then, a sound. Soft but mighty, steady but tiny, a heartbeat. Raphael froze, his eyes widened, his mouth fell open, the doctor even smiled. First time dad? Raphael nodded like a malfunctioning robot. Then the doctor turned the screen slightly. Here she is, he announced, a beautiful baby girl. A girl. Raphael felt his chest break open. This wasn't imagination, this wasn't guilt, this wasn't maybe someday. This was real. This child was his. And somehow that reality punched him straight in the soul. He had walked away from this, from her, from Claire, From everything? He almost cried on the doctor's shoe. Afterwards, Claire stood outside the clinic, arms folded. You can come for the next appointment and the one after if you want. Raphael didn't miss a single one. Rain or shine, traffic or flood, he showed up early, sometimes before the cleaners. He never begged for attention, never pushed his luck, never tried to insert himself into Claire's life. He just showed up, quiet, consistent, patient. Claire noticed. She acted like she didn't, but she noticed. When Claire went into labour late one night, she called him. "I'm going to the hospital." That was all she said. Raphael jumped up, grabbed his keys and ran out of his apartment wearing mismatched slippers. No one to tell him he looked mad. At the hospital, he didn't assume he had access to the delivery room. He stayed in the waiting area for 14 hours. 14. He paced, sat, stood, sat, drank water, prayed, regretted life decisions. Claire's sister Abigail was the one in the labour room with her, holding her hand, shouting encouragement, threatening nurses, everything. Finally, Abigail stepped out. "She's here," she said softly. "A baby girl." Raphael's knees buckled. He cried, right there in the corridor like a man who had seen angels. Abigail put a hand on his shoulder. Claire said, "You can come meet the baby tomorrow. She's tired." He nodded. He understood. That night, Raphael didn't sleep. He lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about how stupid he had been. 7 months ago, he thought he was escaping responsibility. He thought he was being logical, practical, wise. He had actually been a first-class stupidity. Morning came. Raphael arrived at the hospital dressed too neatly, carrying flowers and a tiny stuffed elephant. A nurse led him to Claire's room. There she was, Claire, exhausted but glowing with peace, holding a tiny sleeping bundle. Raphael stopped at the door. "Come in," she said softly. He stepped forward slowly, like if he walked too loud, he'd break something holy. "Do you want to hold her?" she asked. He nodded. He couldn't speak. Claire placed the baby gently in his arms. Raphael felt something shift, like the earth moved. She was warm, soft, perfect, beautiful. And she was his. He whispered, barely audible, "I'm sorry, my princess. I'm so sorry." Claire watched him silently. Her expression softened just a little. She spoke gently, tiredly. "I spent 7 months being angry at you. Anger kept me going, but I realised I don't want my daughter growing up around hatred." Raphael looked up, eyes red. She continued, "I will never forget what you did, but for her sake, if you're ready to try, really try, I won't stop you. But trust," Claire added, "will be earned slowly, not automatically restored." Raphael nodded immediately. "I understand. I'll prove it, whatever it takes." As days rolled by and weeks turned into months, Raphael showed up 3 times a week, not to impress Claire, to bond with baby Amelia Grace. He learned how to warm bottles, how to change diapers without crying, how to rock her to sleep, how to clean spit up with dignity. He paid child support without arguments, paid even more on top, scheduled his life around Amelia, cancelled unnecessary business trips, quit drinking every night, started reading parenting books. His friends were shocked. "Raphael, you? Changing diapers?" "Yes." "Comforting baby?" "Yes." "Rejecting Friday night turn-up?" "Yes." "What happened?" "Her name is Amelia." Claire kept her distance, but she was watching. Slowly, very slowly, she saw that Raphael's change wasn't a performance. It was real. When Amelia turned 1, Raphael threw a party in a nearby park. Both families came. Claire came. Friends came. Everybody came. For the first time since their marriage crashed, everyone stood in one place. And for the first time in a long, long time, Claire didn't look at Raphael with anger. She looked at him with something new, something gentler, something hopeful. Maybe second chances didn't always look like love reborn. Sometimes they looked like a father holding his daughter while she smashed her first birthday cake into his shirt, and a mother watching from a distance, quietly impressed by the man he was becoming. The venue was a small heaven. The small park behind the event centre was decorated with balloons, cupcakes, and one long table that screamed, "We tried, but the budget refused." It was Claire's idea. Amelia Grace's birthday shouldn't feel like tension, even though everyone knew Raphael had carried such premium guilt for months that it practically had its own BVN. When Raphael stood up to give his toast, people paused mid-chew. Aunties held their gel. Uncles cleared their throats. Even little Amelia blinked dramatically like she was about to witness gossip. Raphael tapped the microphone once. "Capo!" It echoed like judgment. "My people," he began, "I want to say something today. And no, I'm not about to propose again," he added, rolling his eyes as some aunties giggled like teenagers. But then he inhaled deeply, the kind of inhale men take when they're about to confess something that could make them trend on social media. "I messed up," he said plainly. "I messed up big time. In fact, if foolishness had a club, I would have been the chairman." People froze. Someone's meat pie dropped. He continued, "Months ago, when Claire got pregnant with Amelia, I walked away. I didn't just walk, I ran, like someone was chasing me with hot oil. I told her to end the pregnancy. I divorced her because I didn't want responsibility. I became a ghost, forwarding address, no explanation, nothing." A lady gasped so loudly it sounded like she swallowed air for the whole row. "But I'm saying this now because I want my daughter to know something. People can change. You can make terrible decisions and still turn around if you're ready to drag your nonsense into the light and fix it." Several heads nodded. Nigerians love accountability almost as much as they love jollof. He turned to Claire, who was holding Amelia's hand. "Claire, thank you. You carried her alone. You faced pregnancy cravings alone. You battled swollen feet alone. You pushed out a whole human being while I was hiding somewhere behaving like a malfunctioning remote control. You're the strongest person I know." Even the breeze paused. No be-small confession. There wasn't a dry eye in the park, except one stubborn uncle who insisted men don't cry, but still used handkerchief to rub his face every 5 seconds. Claire didn't say much then. She simply nodded and whispered, "Okay." But that evening, when the party had ended and the last guest had packed their leftover takeaway pack, she spoke. They stood outside while Amelia played with her new toys inside. "You've changed," Claire said quietly, "and I'm proud of the father you're becoming." Ah, Raphael felt that line enter his bones like cold harmattan breeze. It was the first time she had said something like that since the whole Wahala began, but he never forgot those 7 months he abandoned her. 7 months where Claire felt the first kicks alone. 7 months where she went for scans alone, holding her hospital card like a soldier going to battle with no backup. 7 months where she saw Amelia's tiny face first without him. Those memories haunted him like a stubborn ringtone that refuses to stop. But they also pushed him. From that day onward, he became that dad. PTA meetings? Present. Dance recital? Front row. Football match? He screamed louder than the coach. School project, he became chief cardboard designer, glue master and moral support officer. He never spoke badly about Claire. He never formed victim. He simply owned his past and kept doing better. Eventually, Claire started dating someone, Hilary, a soft-spoken, clean gentleman who ironed his shirts properly and spoke to Amelia like she was a princess. Raphael had almost choked on his bottled water the first time he saw Hilary pick Amelia up and spin her gently like cartoon fathers do in movies. "Who is this man spinning my child like pancake?" Raphael muttered to himself. But later he accepted it. Claire deserved happiness, and his own role wasn't husband anymore. It was Amelia's father. Full stop. Period. Years passed. Slowly, Claire trusted him again. Not romantically, but she trusted him with Amelia's heart, and that meant more to him than anything else. On Amelia's 13th birthday, he and Claire sat outside watching Amelia play with her friends, who were screaming like they were being chased by imaginary dragons. Raphael cleared his throat. "Claire, thank you for not listening to me back then, for not removing her, for being stronger than my stupidity. I think about it every day, how close I came to destroying the best part of my life before she was born." Claire was quiet for a long moment. "I won't pretend it was easy," she said. "I cried myself to sleep so many nights. I questioned myself. I felt alone. But never, not for 1 second, did I regret choosing Amelia's life over our marriage." She looked at him. "I hope you've forgiven yourself, Raphael, because holding on to guilt forever won't change anything." He wiped a tear. "I'm still working on it," he said. "But every day with Amelia, it makes it easier to breathe." Inside the house, Amelia ran past them, giggling, shouting, "Daddy, come and see my cake again!" And Raphael stood up immediately, because this time he wasn't missing a single moment. Not anymore. Not ever again. My beautiful viewers, thank you so much for watching this emotional, dramatic, and absolutely unpredictable journey. Today's story reminded us that life will humble you, love will test you, and growth is a choice, not a miracle. Raphael lost so much, but he fought to earn back the one thing that truly mattered, being a present father to little Amelia Grace. Moral lesson: nobody is perfect, but acknowledging your mistakes is the first step to redemption. Being a parent is not about biology, it's about showing up consistently. Besties, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment in your language, share to your friends, and of course subscribe for more emotional, exciting, dramatic stories. See you in the next episode, my beautiful people.